Wilmer Webster Tanner December 17, 1909 – October 28, 2011, was an American zoologist, professor and curator. He has been associated with Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah for much of his life and has published extensively on the snakes and salamanders of the Great Basin family. Tanner was born in Fairview, Utah, into a Mormon family. His paternal grandfather, David Tanner, had immigrated to Utah in 1848. Tanner was the fourth of John and Lois Ann Tanner's 5 children. Vasco M., one of Tanner's brothers, was also a naturalist who taught at BYU. On January 4, 1935, in the Salt Lake Temple, Tanner married Helen Brown, with whom he had 3 children. Helen died in 1995, and Tanner married retired BYU instructor Ottila Watson on October 26, 1999. Ottila died November 21, 2003. Education and career. In 1929, Tanner was a Mormon missionary to the Netherlands, where he learned Dutch. After his return in 1932, Tanner attended BYU, graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in 1936. Tanner prepared a thesis about the snakes of Utah for his Master of Science in 1937. He then began a doctorate, but was delayed by World War II until 1946. At the time, Tanner was working as an assistant for Edward Harrison Taylor at Kansas University. Wilmer obtained his Ph.D. in 1948 with a thesis on comparative anatomy of salamanders of Mexico and Central America. In 1950, Tanner joined the BYU faculty. In 1961 it was reported that Tanner, then an associate professor of zoology and entomology at BYU, was in the midst of a 4-year study of the effect on Utah wildlife from exposure to higher natural radiation, resulting in areas with a 10 to 20 microcurie higher radiation level per hour than is typical of the surrounding geography. Museum leadership. Tanner served as the curator of the BYU's Life Sciences Museum from 1972 to 1979. In the late 70s, he helped process a large donation of samples and convinced the donor to fund a new building for the museum. The Monty L. Bean Life Science Museum opened to the public in 1978, and over the ensuing years increased staff were hired, educational exhibits developed and scientific activities funded. Tanner felt this was the most important aspect of his career and devoted almost a quarter of his autobiography to discussing how the grant was won. From Mr. Bean. Study and work. Tanner's interest in herpetology was influenced by many people, primarily his brother Vasco Myron Tanner, Joseph Richard Slevin of the California Academy of Sciences, and Lawrence Monroe Klauber, Helen Thompson Gage, Norman Edouard Hartwig, Clark Hubbs, and Albert Hazen Wright were also influential. Tanner published over 130 scientific articles, 15 describing new species and genera. He is commemorated in the scientific name of the lizard Celeporus tanneri. Tanner was a member of the American Society of Ichthyologists and Herpetologists and the American Association for the Advancement of Science, and was one-time president of the Herpetologists League. He was the publisher of Herpetologica magazine for 18 years. He has also served as president of the Provo Energy Board.